Welcome back this morning. Whether you're already married, soon to be married, our guests now this morning can help you out.
They're the authors of 101 Things I Wish I Knew When I Got Married. And this morning, Linda and Charlie Bloom join us with just a few of those 101 tips. Where have you been? You're late because I'm getting married in less than a month. I don't have time to read this. But very interesting. I read a couple chapters. You really hit some of the nerves that we are going through right now. Like, if you think you're too good for your partner, think again. Also, your primary relationship is with your partner, not your children. Some very interesting things.
Good things to know in advance.
Yeah, things that you have learned as a couple.
Yeah, a lot of that is mistakes that we made and things that we just didn't realize until after we were on the job. And fortunately, we were able to learn from some of those things and put the corrections in. And one of the reasons that we wrote the book is to spare some people of some of the pitfalls that inevitably we encounter.
Yeah. There are lots and lots of marriage advice books out there. What do you think makes yours different?
Well, this is a user-friendly piece. And we really were careful to distill the wisdom of our many years together and our work as marriage counselors down to essence. So it's very concentrated and compact. And for the busy professional people who are in a hurry, they could read the table of contents in about 15 minutes and they could get a lot of value out of the book just reading the 101 things.
So here you are, marriage counselors, and even marriage counselors struggle with marriage. And
even marriage counselors.
Yeah. How long have you been married to each other?
31 years.
31 years.
Oh,
see, congratulations.
Yeah.
But you're right, and if you guys have all this knowledge and you still struggle, think about the people that have absolutely no professional background when it comes to this kind of advice. You gave us some tips from your book. We want to let people go along with out there. Marriage 101, privacy won't hurt, but secrecy will. So what's the difference between privacy and secrecy?
Well, it's mainly in the differences in intention. Everybody's got a right to have certain things private in their lives, and we don't have to share everything that we have with our partner. But when we keep secrets, there's an intention to conceal, an intention to withhold certain information that's relevant to the relationship, usually in order to maintain a certain impression that we want to keep. So there's an element of dishonesty in secrecy. And that can really get us in trouble because honesty is the foundation of trust.
There was a great, actually, I don't know if anybody read in Dear Abby this morning, a letter from a woman whose husband wanted to go to a strip club with his nephews, his grown nephews, and she was thinking about asking him not to go, and he felt it was sort of, he had hidden it from her before, but it was his right to go. Privacy or secrecy?
Well, in that case, it's really a matter of what the understanding is between the two people. It's, again, if there's an intention to conceal something, then in the past, if he was doing that with the intention of concealing it, then he was being, that was dishonest. Absolutely.
Right. Okay, you also say another marriage tip is all marriages have differences, realizing that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're married, you're husband and wife. Isn't that all the same?
We really believe in this old adage about opposites attract. And we actually reinterpret that a little bit, that complements attract. And there's some very deep knowing part of ourselves, a very wise and unconscious part, that gravitates us to someone who's quite different than we are. That's not a problem. It can be if you start making their way of being and their way of doing things bad and wrong. But if we know that we're going to be magnetized to somebody who's quite different than we are, for the purpose of learning more about that area in ourselves, growing that area in ourselves, then it can be a really winning combination.
Yeah, you start off liking the difference, but then you want to change them to be not so different, but if you really learn, basically appreciate the differences.
If they were just more like me, our relationship would be better.
Doggone it. Okay.
But if we can be enriched by that complementarity.
I agree with that.
You say, too, marriage isn't 50-50. We've all heard that.
Yeah, we've heard that it's 50-50, and when we say it's not 50-50, what we mean is that it's 100-100. It means you don't just give up to your part and say, well, this 50%, now it's your turn now, and I'm going to sit back and wait. But you give what you can give, and you keep giving, and hopefully you have a situation where the other person wants to also do their share, and you don't just cut it off because you think that that's the limit.
And you also say, ask, how may I best love you?
That's one of my favorites.
That's a great question.
Isn't that beautiful? And we teach workshops, and sometimes there are couples that have been in the workshop for 10 years, they've been together 20 years, and when we give this to them as an exercise to do in the workshop, they're sometimes surprised. They think they know their partner very well, and they may, but they may be making assumptions about the way in which that person wants love shown.
Yeah.
And we can't help but be subjective.
Right.
So we tend to show love the way we like to be loved.
Exactly.
But they might like it in a
little bit
different way.
differently. And lastly, you say quickly, criticism isn't constructive. You're right. If you have to say something, basically you have something nice to say it nicely.
Yeah.
Or don't have anything nice to say.
And don't
go
go around thinking that just because you've got an opinion about something that's necessarily going to serve the other person.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
We really encourage people to give feedback or criticism if it's solicited, but if it's not, you know, it's not going to be helpful.
I might have to expand on that in the next segment because I need to ask you questions on that.